Hello everyone, welcome to Mathematical Method Unit 1. This video will focus on 4D, Part 2, the semicircles, and the learning intention is to sketch the semicircles. Okay, so the first successful criteria is I know how to identify which part of the semicircle that the rule represents. And the second successful criteria is I know how to identify the center point from a semicircle rule. Okay, so now initially, as we talk about in the classroom, we have x squared plus y squared equal to r squared. We know the center point is 0 and 0, which is on the origin, and the radius is r. Okay, so now the graph gonna look like we will have a circle that has a center on origin 0 0, and then we have a circle with the radius of r. Okay, so this is the circle. Now and as we discussed, if we rearrange this formula, we will get 4 different formulas. So y is equal to positive r squared minus x squared, and y is equal to negative r squared square root r squared minus x squared. And we also have the x. We can also rearrange this circle form into make the x subject. So x will be equal to positive r squared minus y squared, and also x can be equal to negative square root r squared minus y squared. So as we discussed in the classroom, this is make the y subject. Okay, so that means if we have a positive square root, so that means we have a positive y. Okay, so then that means we will have the top half. Okay, and we know because this formula is generated from this formula, so we know the center point 0 0. Okay, so that's why I can draw my graph top half like this straight away, and then here y subject, make the y subject, and then it's negative square root. Okay, so that means, so we have the negative y, so then 0 0, and then we have the bottom half. So that's top half and bottom half. That's when we rearrange this equation into make it y subject. Okay, so now it's x subject, so if positive square root, so positive x, so that means we have right hand side, because right hand side of the x-axis is positive, so then that is the right half of the circle, and then x subject. Okay, so x subject, that means negative negative x, so that will be my left hand side. Okay, again 0 0 as the origin, which is my center point, so left half. Okay, so this is what we did before in example 11. Okay, so now if we go to example 12, I want to sketch y is equal to negative 2 plus square root 49 minus x minus 2 squared. All right, so now guys, if you have a look, this one doesn't look like any of these. Okay, because when we see something like this, we know the origin, which is over here, that is our center point. But this one, how do we identify our center point? Okay, so this is our first successful criteria, how to identify, second successful criteria, how to identify the center point from a semicircle rule. Okay, so again, this form, there's no way it's kind of difficult to identify the center point unless you know this topic very well. Okay, so now to find, so back to the successful criteria 2, to identify the center point from the semicircle rule, you need to rearrange it. Okay, so you need to rearrange it back to the circle form, x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equal to r squared. Okay, so your target is trying to rearrange it to make it something like that so that you can identify the center point. Okay, so now let's do that. So here, so what I can do is I can put negative 2 on the right hand side, so that give me y plus 2 equal to square root 49 minus x minus 2 square. Okay, then I'm gonna use square because there's square root. I don't want the square root. Okay, so I can use square to cancel out my square root. And then so on my left hand side, so y plus 2 square equal to, so now my on the right hand side square cancel out my square root, so that will have 49 take away x minus 2 square. Okay, and then you see that whole lot, it is so look at this bracket as a whole lot, x minus 2 square. Okay, so now you'll have minus x minus 2 square, so then move it to other side, it becomes, so it's minus, now you plus. Okay, so that will become y plus square root, y plus 2 square root square plus, because it's minus over here, it's minus over here, so move to other side, become positive, so that become positive x plus 2, x minus 2 square equal to 49. Okay, so now you see here, so compare to my circle form and I can identify. Okay, so my, okay, I'll be aware this is x over here, so let me rewrite it. So x minus 2, so put x in front, plus y plus 2 square equal to 49. Okay, so now I know h is 2, k is negative 2. Okay, because that's y minus 2, so your k is actually negative 2. So now I know my center point is 2 and negative 2. Okay, and then my r, because 49 is equal to 7 squared, so my r is equal to 7. All right. Okay, so now I know my center point is 2, negative 2, and my r is 7. So now I can roughly let me draw it on my left hand side. Okay, so if I, so actually let me write over here. So I know center point is 2, negative 2, so let me draw it. So that'll be 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. So 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. Okay, so try to make it a scale equivalent. So 2 negative 2, so 2 negative 2 will be over here. So that's my center point. And then okay, so I need to identify my which part of the semicircle. So I have top, bottom, right, and left. So how do I identify? Okay, so coming back to my formula. Okay, so now I will have let me use a different color. So red. So you see here, y is equal to negative 2 plus square root. Okay, so it's subject. This equation is in the subject of y. Okay, so that means something similar with this. Subject to y, that means it's top and half. A top half and bottom half. So I already got the idea. Okay, so we're not talking about right and left half of the semicircle. We're talking about top and bottom. Top half or bottom half of the semicircle, because the equation is the subject to y. Okay, and then so is it top or bottom? So to identify top or bottom, you need to say the square root. Okay, so now let's check. In front of the square root, it is a positive. So like back to our general form over here. So you see it's positive in front of the square root when the equation is subject to y. Okay, so now the equation is subject to y, but in front of the square root over here, it is positive. So that tells me my graph is actually top. Okay, so it's the top half. Okay, so now coming back, so I have 2 square root 2, r is equal to 7. So I need to start to extend my circle. So 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. Okay, so it will be over here. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. Okay, so that will be over here. So that's my to the right and to the left. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. Okay, so now we know it is top half. So now I can roughly draw. Okay, so now I can extend to the top. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. Okay, so now I can roughly draw a graph. So that's my semicircle. Okay, so now you can you see here I will have I will have x-intercept and y-intercept. Okay, so now your next step is to calculate the x-intercept and the y-intercept. So Now we know to find x-intercept, let y equal to 0. Okay, so now I know, so look, if you look at example 12, so I know that y equal to 0. So initially we have y equal to -2 plus 49 minus x minus 2 square. Okay, so now that y equal to 0, that will be 0 equal to -2 plus 49, take away x minus 2 square. Okay, so now I put -2 to the other side, so it'll become +2 equal to square root 49 minus x minus 2 square. Okay, and then cancel out the square by using square root by using square. Okay, so then you have 4 equal to, so now on my right hand side, square cancel out square root, so 49 take away 4. Then, alright, so if you continue to solve it out, so then here, move 49 to the left hand side, so positive 49 become negative, so that will become 4 take away 49 equal to negative x minus 2 square. Okay, so that give me negative 45 equal to negative x minus 2 square, and then negative, so I can cancel out, so that give me 45 equal to x minus 2 square. Okay, so now use square root, cancel out your square, so that will give me, and then you will have positive negative. Okay, so now positive negative square root 45 equal to, on my right hand side, square root cancel out the square, so x minus 2. Okay, so now your x will be equal to a positive square root 5 plus 2 or negative square root 45 minus plus 2. Okay, so this is my x and y intercept. Okay, so if I put in your calculator, this will be roughly equal to, let me use my calculator. So square root 45 plus 2, so roughly equal to 8.71, and this one will be roughly equal to negative 45 plus 2. Okay, so equal to negative 4.7. Okay, so I would like you to plot on your graph slightly accurate. Okay, so it's 8.71, so it should be between 8 and 9. So here 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9. Okay, so that's roughly over here. That's my x-intercept. Another one, negative 4.7, so that will be roughly between negative 4 and negative 5. So negative 1, negative 4, 2, negative 3, negative 4, 1 2 3 4, negative 4, so somewhere over here. Okay, so now that's my x-intercept. Okay, so you're going to do the same thing to find the y-intercept. To find y-intercept, let x equal to 0. Okay, so now y will be equal to -2 plus 49 square root 49 take away, so x is equal to 0 minus 2 square, then y equal to -2 plus square root 49, so 0 minus 2 will be minus 2 square. Okay, then y equal to -2 plus 49 minus, so y will be equal to -2 plus 49 minus, okay, so here this part, -2 squared, it will give me a positive 4, so then minus 4, and then y will be equal to -4 plus 45. Okay, so then if you put in your calculator, that will be something equal to 4.7. Okay, so y equal to 4.7 on my y-intercept, so make sure you make it accurate. So 4.7 is between 4 and 5, so 1 2 3 4 5, so between 4 and 5, so somewhere over here, and then now you can connect them. Okay, so that will be your semicircle on the top. Alright, so now coming back, okay, let's have a look about our successful criteria again. So first of all, how do we identify which part of a semicircle that the semicircle rule represent? Okay, so as I said, if it's make the y subject, then we are talking about top half and the bottom half. Okay, and then to identify is it the top or the bottom half, then you need to identify whether for the square root is it the positive or negative in front of the squared. Okay, in the same way, if you have make the subject x if this is the x subject, then we are talking about right and left. Okay, again, so the second one is second successful criteria, how do I identify the center point? So now if you have a semicircle like that, now the only way, the most straightforward way is you need to rearrange it into the circle form over here, and then you can identify the center point. Okay,